Hello and welcome to 100 Days and Beyond podcast. This podcast is dedicated to post-merger or post-acquisition integrations. That part of the merger and acquisition process, or M&A as people like to call it, that part of the M&A process where the deal is done, the parties have negotiated, and it's actually starting to be day one of a new acquisition. Why have we created this podcast? And who is this podcast for? My name is Dudley Peacock, and in the world we live today, it's never been easier to go online and get information regarding any subject. But therein lies the problem. Information today is everywhere, but there are very few insights. For example, there are many misconceptions or even confusion around the different aspects of the integration phase of mergers and acquisitions. While focus rightly concentrates on getting the M&A deal done, the actual deal of finding, negotiating, doing the due diligence and closing the deal. But the integration phase is where the value is created, where the synergies are captured. Especially the first 100 days is crucial in ensuring that the acquiring company or acquiring organization gets the absolute best results with a beautifully choreographed integration. But there is little genuine insight into what really goes on post-acquisition. This podcast was created to get the real insights, the real stories, good and bad, the real expertise to help all parties involved in M&A to achieve stunning integrations. Not only can you listen to the real-life experience of top M&A experts, but you can also have the option to contact them, to know who you can deal with long before you even speak to them, and see what it takes to become an M&A integration practitioner, specialist, or even to get the services of one or build integration speciality within your organization. So who listens to this podcast? This podcast is for anybody that is in the business world and that wants to upskill themselves around acquisitions and the fulfillment of the strategy that so many M&A professionals go out to try and achieve. Companies and private equity firms, venture capital or angel investors, family offices and the like go out and do acquisitions so that they can go and expand their customer bases, build additional talent, get additional technology or improve technology, or get into different geographical areas, or whatever the strategic reason is for doing the acquisition. But once that acquisition is done, once the paperwork is done and money is transferred or there's been a payment of some sort, the people that actually have to go in and do the main work are integration specialists. And this podcast is all about that. And the audience that would listen to this podcast are those people that are either thrown into the situation for the first time. So it could be at the beginning of your career. It could be that you're in your career for some years and you've never experienced an acquisition before, and you're now being thrown into the midst of either being acquired or your company acquiring another company. Or you could be a practitioner, an accountant, a lawyer, or any kind of business person that gets thrown into the middle of a merger and acquisition process. But when we talk about the post-merger integration work, we're talking about the merging, the bringing together of two entities or more. Post-merger or post-acquisition integration work has got a lot to do with bringing out the planned efficiencies and the planned synergies and the planned value creation that is so necessary to make an investment in buying another company worthwhile. If you're in private equity, the clock is also ticking in terms of you would need to do the acquisition, grow the asset that you've purchased, potentially bolt on a few additional assets that you purchase or a few other companies that you buy, roll them up, bundle them, and then as quickly as possible exit or sell those entities or the group of entities to the next buyer. And so in realizing capital growth as well as revenue during the ownership period. So this podcast covers so many different topics, from culture through to the skills and many, many work streams. And I would like to invite you to listen to more than just a handful and to become a regular subscriber. So click on the button, subscribe to our channel, and listen weekly as we interview experts as we build more and more episodes around this fascinating topic, taking different points of view, from those being acquired through to those that are unskilled or skilled or have become skilled through just sheer force and determination to be able to turn what is a very difficult task into something that can be of high success. So if you'd like to be interviewed and you're a practitioner, or you've been through an episode of being acquired or being in that position of doing an acquisition, we welcome you to be on the show, to come and share your experiences and to join our community and to join our group of podcast alumni that have been on the show and will be joining the show coming into the future to really add value to our community of post-merger or post-acquisition integration specialists. Thank you for coming onto our podcast and happy listening.